Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Warren. I am a property investor across the UK and a banker here in London. My goal is to live free and independently from property. So I'm looking for an income of £3,000 per month from property. If that's your goal too, like and subscribe. That is what my content is all about. So guys, welcome to the first monthly UK housing market update of 2023 for February. What I wanted to do was wait a month. I could have done a UK housing market update for January 2023, but I wanted to wait to get this month's data so that we'll be able to look across the whole of last year and importantly, the first month of this year in 2023, because they do it in arrears. And I did that for two main reasons, guys. First of all, it has now been 5 months since I predicted back in September of 2022 that we won't be heading for a UK housing market crash. Does that mean that we're in for a recession, a property market crash? Absolutely not. I believe it's a correction. I don't believe that we're about to see a property market crash. As I said in my past 3, 4, 5 videos, I do not feel we're going to see a crash in the UK housing market. Over the last 4 months, guys, I've been looking at the data and I have not been seeing any signs, and I mean any signs of a housing market crash. Instead, more of a cooling down towards the end of the year. But I said that the UK housing market would not be significantly affected by what was going on. You know, we had Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss's car crash of a budget. We had the ongoing effect of the global health crisis and also the war in Ukraine and Russia and the cost of living issues associated with that, COVID, and also Brexit, which nobody talks about anymore.
We just hate the European Union. It's as simple as that. Goodbye.
So in summary, I think that 5 months later is a good time to revisit that prediction that I made in September, and I kept on making until the end of the year, to objectively review the data, guys, to see if that crash that we were promised, that 1% of the people in the comments thought was absolutely going to be here, which the media had a heyday causing a fuss about, is that still going to happen? Or did a subset of people fall victim to that constant media trick of putting out sensationalist doomsday prediction headlines, and the gullible amongst us fall victim of that and believe whatever they see? We will see in this video. And overall, guys, I think that the economic turmoil that Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss caused is a perfect case study for us watching at the time to learn from, guys. It taught us, okay, how property market volatility and economic volatility actually works in practice, guys, because stuff like that is going to happen all the time. You're always going to get expected and unexpected economic shocks that affect different markets, such as the property market. That's a perfect case study, okay, of what you should and shouldn't be paying attention to and how to come out of it on top. So guys, let's start this UK housing market update for February 2023 by looking at the all-important data.
Let's start with the Halifax House Price Index for the UK housing market for January 2023. We can see that from December to January, there has been 0% growth. After 5 months of decline from June through to December, in this month just gone, the housing market has started to stabilize. That 5-month decline has stopped and we're seeing it start to level out. For the year overall, from January to December 2022, i.e. the year just gone, we can see that the overall growth of the UK housing market for that year has been just under 2%. That, of course, is below the long-term average. For the last 5 years, the UK housing market has grown by 6% per year, and for the last 10 years, it's been 6.7%, so roughly a third of that. And when we look at some of the commentary in this UK housing market update report for February 2023, it says that the start of 2023 has brought some stability to the UK house prices. The pace of annual growth has continued to slow to 1.9% from 2.1% in December, which is the lowest level recorded over the last 3 years. So this is one of the biggest lenders of mortgages in the UK saying that the start of 2023 has brought some stability to UK house prices. What I want you to do is go and look at the news and the media and the articles and tell me what the media is saying versus one of the biggest lenders in the UK, because you're probably going to see quite a big difference between what's being reported. And yes, of course, the annual growth is at its lowest level in the past 3 years, but guys, we know why that is. We are operating in the UK housing market in the context of a war in Ukraine that's been happening all of last year. The budget in September that sent the economy into a tailspin and the housing market in the UK into a tailspin. We're dealing with stagnant economic growth. We're dealing with rising costs of living, out of control inflation that happened, and spiking interest rates, which of course raised mortgage rates. So despite all of that, guys, and that is a lot for 1 year, those many things usually don't happen in an economy in the space of 12 months, we still saw the UK housing market grow by 2%. That's still a respectable level of growth. And when we look at the nationwide data, we can see that for the month just gone, there was a 0.6% decline in UK house prices for the month after a previous 3 months of decline from October to December. For the year overall, the annual growth for the UK housing market is 1.1%. Again, guys, almost exactly the same as the reasons that we just saw before. A lot has happened this year in the economy, politically and economically, and therefore we're somewhat below the long-term average growth of the UK housing market. That can be explained. And also, guys, it'd be wise to factor in the natural decline in the UK housing market that happens most years between the months of roughly around October to February. As we get towards the end of the year, the level of transactions in the UK housing market naturally falls because people aren't trying to buy houses in the run up to Christmas. The housing market is most active between the periods of spring and summer. And then when we look at the commentary in the nationwide index, we see, however, there are some encouraging signs that the mortgage rates are normalizing. But it is too early to tell whether activity in the housing market has started to recover. And yes, that's 100% true. Mortgage rates are normalizing. When we had the budget announcement in September, mortgage rates shot up. Some mortgage products were removed altogether. And people were predicting a doomsday scenario where mortgage rates will just carry on rising indefinitely. But in the space of 4 months, guys, we have seen them start to normalize and come down. No, we're not going to go back to the levels that they were before. Yes, we've seen a permanent increase in them given the economic environment that we live in, but nowhere near the levels that a lot of people were saying that mortgage rates were going to go up to. All of those doomsday predictions have been proven false. So what is the takeaway from all three of these? Takeaway, guys, is that yes, the second half of last year was a tough one for the UK housing market. However, we are not seeing a crash in the UK housing market. It's just not happening, guys. There was an understandable dip towards the end of last year because of everything that happened that we've just talked about. But what we're starting to see now is a leveling off of the market. Stability is coming back. I don't believe that this year is going to be a spectacular year of growth, but I think the market's going to grow once again, and there isn't going to be this housing market crash that so many people predicted. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
So the question is, guys, where is this crash that we were promised by the media? Okay, sections of the media were having a field day. I don't know if you guys remember or can think back to media coverage, right, from September until the end of the year. If you're paying attention, you will notice that the media are incredibly silent on economic crashes and property crashes now that it's not happening conveniently, guys. And of course, some of the 1% in the comment section were loud and vocal and believed the media when they were saying this and parroted what the media was telling them. People were acting like they'd been to the future, okay, and already seen the crash. I was hearing stuff of 15% crashes, 20, 30% crashes. Biggest crashes on record were definitely gonna happen, all right? And I'll be interested to see if those people come back to the comment section on this video. I would love to hear if you're still holding on dearly to those predictions from 5 months ago, now that it's clearly not happening, guys. And I did a whole 4 videos, right, from September to December saying that the market, yes, was slowing down and cooling, but guys, do not panic. I don't believe that we're about to see a property market crash. I agree with you that there has to be a correction. I absolutely agree with you there, but I don't believe there's going to be a crash, and we'll see at the end of this year.
I do not feel we're going to see a crash in the UK housing market. In fact, I think that house prices are going to continue to rise over the medium to long term.
Yes, we're seeing some short-term market slowdown, and this is an important point, guys. I completely agree, and I want to reiterate this. The market is slowing down, it's cooling down, but it's not crashing. waiting, right? But overall, when you look at the end of the sentence, property market is a sector that remains robust. If anything, keep buying. People aren't going to be put out of business. Landlords aren't going to be rushing out of the market. It is going to be okay. We're going to ride this out. And next year, we are going to go back to the long-term average or slightly below. That is what I said. So guys, I hope you catch the spirit of this video. The lesson here is to stop believing everything that you're told in the media, especially about the housing market and the economy, guys. When it comes to the media, their job is to sell papers, to get clicks on their websites. And so they're going to feed you doomsday, worst case scenario predictions, even when they're not true, okay? Your job as a person who's interested in property or investing is to do your own research and think independently, guys, and come to your own conclusions. I'm not saying that the media information out there is not useful. I'm not saying that all media is BS and they lie, because they don't. But just be aware of the games that they play, and be aware of the people around you who get stirred up by what they see and they don't do their own research, because they're going to feed you wrong information that's going to cause you ultimately to make the wrong decisions when it comes to buying and investing in property. So based on everything that we've seen the data, okay, for January, and we've looked across the whole of last year, and we saw that in summary, the actual growth for 2022 and coming into this year is really pretty much in line with what we've seen over the past couple of decades. And all of that despite a war in Ukraine, a horrific budget from Kwasi and Liz, lingering effects, okay, of Brexit and the global health crisis, stagnant economic growth, out of control inflation, out of control interest rates, guys. All of that, and the property market was still pretty much in line with long-term growth. I really hope that gives you a clear picture of how the UK housing market works and what to expect in this coming year. So guys, I'm not even going to make a prediction yet, not yet, for what I think is going to happen in the housing market this year in 2023 in the UK. What do you think? Based on what you've seen in this video, based on what I've talked about and reflected upon from last year and the first month of this year, tell me what you think is going to happen in the UK property market this year. I am very intrigued to hear your thoughts based on what we've heard today. Guys, like and subscribe for the algorithm. Share this video and this page with friends. It really helps the channel grow, and I'll see you guys next week.